Welcome to News9 and you are watching On Point. Today we have 3 On Points. The first On Point is on Russian President Vladimir Putin's visit to India next week. On Point 2 is on whether family members will get to meet former Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan. On Point 3 is on India's new quake map and its implications. And now let's take a quick look at the headlines. Bharatiya Janata Party plans no confidence motion against Siddaramaiah-led Congress government in Karnataka. Motion to be tabled during winter session of Assembly in Belagavi. Karnataka Deputy CM D.K. Shiv Kumar's symbolic jibe as tussle for CM position escalates. Calls party headquarters in Delhi. The Temple of Congress says he will visit Delhi for important work. India is set to push for a major defence budget hike. Defence Secretary confirms plans to seek 20% increase for the financial year 2026. Ministry also aims to finalise BrahMos deal with Vietnam, Indonesia soon. Tamil Nadu and Bangalore are on high alert as cyclone Ditwa moves towards the North Tamil Nadu coast. IMD has issued a red alert for the Delta and select North Coastal districts on November 28-29. Donald Trump vows to freeze migration from the third world countries following the death of a National Guard member in an attack near the White House. Investigators say attack was carried out by an Afghan national who entered the US in 2021 under a resettlement program. Russian President Vladimir Putin is scheduled to travel to India on December 4th-5th for a state visit at the invitation of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Putin's last visit to India was in December 2021 for the annual summit. Prime Minister Modi attended the most recent summit in Moscow in July 24. The trip will provide the two sides an opportunity to review bilateral ties against the backdrop of US pressure to reduce purchases of Russian energy and military hardware. Here's what likely on the agenda when Prime Minister Modi and President Putin meet for their summit in December. India's proposal to procure 5 additional S-400 Triumph air defence squadrons, which were highly effective during Operation Sindoor, is likely to be on the top of the agenda. India may also seek an upgrade to the S-500 missile defence system. The Indian Armed Forces are also looking at acquiring Russian Pantsir missile system to combat armed and kamikaze drones. Also likely to be on the agenda is the conflict in Ukraine. Prime Minister Modi has advocated for peace several times recently. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar spoke to Ukraine's Foreign Minister to discuss the situation in the country. The two sides may also unveil new measures for civil nuclear cooperation. However, sources say India has not yet decided whether to purchase 2 or 3 squadrons of the Russia's 5th generation 57 Sukhoi 57 fighter, which Moscow is pushing hard as an alternative to American F-35 Lightning jets. India has signed a 35,000 crore deal with Russia in 2018 to procure 5 squadrons of the S-400 systems. 3 squadrons are currently operational, with the remaining 2 expected soon. President Putin's visit may expedite this acquisition.
Programs where there are delivery milestone delays, which we will take up with them and try to sort of expedite those, including and there are other major programs such as the Sukhoi upgradation, potentially S-400 additional is not ruled out, but you don't expect any announcements during this meeting. The meeting will focus on the broader elements of institutional cooperation on defense between the two sides, and we'll try to ensure that some of these delivery delays are ended and we start getting clearer answers in terms of when some of these delayed deliveries take place.
Bilateral trade between India and Russia reached a record high of $68.7 billion in financial year 24-25, nearly 5.8 times higher than the pre-pandemic trade of $10.1 billion. It comprises India's export worth $4.8 billion and imports from Russia amounting to 63.84 billion. Both sides expect to reach the bilateral trade target of $100 billion by 2030. So the first question is, what will be our priority when Putin visits India? Russia is the all-weather friend of India. How has this relationship weathered US pressure? And what role India can play to ensure that Russian priority does not get fused with the Chinese interest? On this issue, I am joined by Ambassador Prabhu Dayal and Professor Ranjan Kumar from JNU. Let me straight away go to Ambassador Prabhu Dayal. Sir, what are the institutional areas which this visit is going to address?
Well, let me begin by saying what you commented in continuation of your comment. You know, Donald Trump's aggressive policies and rhetoric have pushed India to reaffirm and strengthen its long-standing strategic ties with Russia. Now, there are many important areas which will be covered during the visit, and let me highlight some of these. Firstly, of course, the leaders will discuss regional and global developments and also work out how to coordinate within international bodies like the UN, BRICS, G20, and the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Now, defense remains a central pillar of cooperation, and the discussions are expected on critical projects like the joint development of a fifth-generation fighter jet, further S-400 missile defense systems, and potentially the joint production of S-500 systems. So the two sides are likely to move forward with defense projects, and this is very, very important, including potential deals for fighter jets and missile defense systems. Now, second very important area where discussions will take place will be boosting trade and investment, particularly in energy, oil, particularly, and of course, nuclear power, and addressing the logistics and payment challenges. You know, India and Russia have committed to boosting bilateral trade to a target of $100 billion by 2030 and exploring alternative payment solutions to circumvent Western sanctions. A third area, of course, is the bilateral mobility agreement, which is expected to be signed to facilitate legal migration and the protection of skilled Indian workers in Russia, which is currently experiencing a labor shortage. Now, this agreement aims to establish a formal framework for legal migration, protect the rights of Indian workers in Russia, and facilitate the expansion of skilled Indian manpower. Now, one more sector which I would like to highlight, which is important, and which is a follow-up of the talks which Prime Minister had with President Putin's aide on 18 November. And that the name of that aide, of course, is Nikolai Patrushev. And these talks focused on strengthening collaboration in the maritime section, including connectivity, port development, skill development, shipbuilding, the blue economy, and Arctic operations. So in a nutshell, the visit of President Putin and the talks he will have is a continuation of regular high-level exchanges and is driven by mutual strategic interests. And the goal is to foster a multipolar order. I think that the visit will reinforce the special and privileged strategic partnership that has been a consistent factor of stability in international relations.
Professor Ranjan Kumar, this visit is taking place in the wake of the sort of pressure which the Americans have built on India vis-a-vis the trade deal. So will there also be a balancing act, because there had been contradictory reports that had come on the import of the Russian oil?
Thank you for having me here. I think this President Putin's visit is extremely important both for Russia and India. This is happening after a gap of 4 years. So because we have the format of annual summit meeting, you were asking about institutional cooperation. So India has annual summit meeting with very few countries. India is one, Japan is other, maybe there are one or two more. But beyond that, but this visit, the annual summit had stopped, because of the war. And President Putin didn't come for a number of years. So he's coming. So it is very important for Russia because, it sends a message to the West that Russia is not isolated. So far, your question, Karthikeya, of this balancing act is concerned, yes, without any doubt, India does try to send a message by strong cooperation with Russia. It tries to balance the United States. It also tries to balance China without any doubt. But so far as energy issue is concerned, this has become a kind of, this point of there are some concerns here because of the sanctions. The US has put sanctions on a few companies, and now Indian private companies are not in position to import, or they are very scared of importing from Russia. So that issue is definitely going to be one of the important points of discussion between the two leaders. Beyond that, there are a number of issues, as Ambassador Dayal pointed out, that with Russia we have a bilateral, a trilateral, quadrilateral, multilateral. We have several types of institutional cooperation with Russia. Is extremely comprehensive, and given the emerging geopolitics, it becomes very important for India to continue maintaining what you call strategic autonomy, and Russia figures very prominently in that India's strategic calculation. You need to balance United States, but also you need to balance China, and Russia also does the same thing because Russia also uses India to balance China and have a favorable atmosphere in the Eurasian continent. So act of balancing is there, and there are likely to be, this visit is symbolic as well as substantial. Substantial issues have been pointed out very rightly by Ambassador Dayal, where he said the defense cooperation is one of the key pillars of Indo-Russia relationship. But beyond this what you call defense partnership, there are also other issues which might figure out. For instance, the sanction. How do you kind of circumvent the issue of sanction which has been imposed by United States? And it doesn't stop there. Tomorrow, United States might decide to sanction even the defense companies. So how do you deal with that? So that's a challenge, and both the leaders will certainly be discussing this how to get around this issue of sanction. Beyond that, there are geopolitical issues, the issue of what do you call it, the Russia-Ukraine conflict, or what is happening in Israel and Gaza, etc. So these are the important issues, and then of course multilateral cooperation, RIC, this BRICS, Shanghai Cooperation, etc. So all these issues will figure prominently in the discussion. But yes, the important message that I get from here is that India will reinforce its strategic autonomy, and Russia will say to the West that that President Putin or Russia, they are not isolated from the rest of the world.
Okay, Ambassador Dayal, what sort of message do you think will emerge, or what you call in the diplomatic parlance, the outcomes when the meeting ends?
Well, I think the message that will go across is that India considers the visit of President Putin as highly significant, and India wants to reaffirm and strengthen the special and privileged relationship which it has with the Russians, which are in the nature of a strategic partnership. And this is particularly important amidst the challenging global geopolitical problems and the landscape of increasing Western pressure on India. So therefore, this summit, which will be taking place, will be the 23rd. But in the context of global politics, it will send out a very special signal, and that is India attaches a lot of importance to strategic autonomy, and therefore it wants to balance the relationship between Moscow and Washington.
Okay. Before I close this conversation, Professor Kumar, I know this is a very specific question I'm asking you, but there is no confirmation in context of the Su-57, which is the 5th generation jet fighter. But Russian publications are saying that the conversation on the deal is in the last phases. Is there some importance we can attach to this Su-57? Because S-400 and 500 are different systems. But when we talk about the 5th generation jet, it's a different ball game, and there Americans get involved.
Absolutely, because we have to be extremely careful when you're signing a deal of this nature. And as you know, the Sukhoi has been the main pillar of India's Air Force, and we have around 259 or some odd aircrafts of Sukhoi. So when you're signing the next level of deal, this deal is about the future. Because if you sign a deal on this aircraft, remember that you will be dealing with that country for the next 20 years. So the politically is very convenient. The Russian aircrafts are also cheaper and all. All those issues are there, but also there are the geopolitical concerns that we need to take into account before going for the fifth generation aircraft. And US will also put pressure on India to buy properly, to go for some kind of deal with the United States if it is interested in sharing that aircraft with India. I'm not sure that US has that interest, and US aircrafts are very expensive compared to the Russian aircraft.
Correct.
So that's a challenge. And given the unpredictability that you have with Trump, suddenly if he decides not to send or sign the deal and then cancel the deal, so in that unpredictability, it is very difficult to deal with the United States also. But yes, what I'm trying to say that when you have this kind of deal, you will have to have larger strategic this calculations into account before you go for this kind of negotiation.
Thank you so much. Thank you both of you for joining me. This was On Point 1. In On Point 2, we will talk about the fate of the imprisoned former Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan after a short break.
अर्जुन कुछ भी पढ़े मेमोरी में नहीं रहता।
Take it, not bites. No added sugar, preservative के बिना डेट्स, बादाम, पिस्ता, काजू और शहद से तैयार किया गया Lion Dates Nut Bites. Lion Date Nut Bites.
What is speed? Do you ever see it? Or is it something you feel? Speed, it's relative. The more you speed up, the more the world slows down. And when you are fast enough, everything becomes still. That's when you see the world as it truly is. Servo Hypersport F5, when speed is your default.
पढ़ता है, खेलता है, झूलता उछलता है, दौड़ता कभी कभी दौड़ कराता है, आगे आगे बढ़ता है इंडिया, अमूल दूध पीता है इंडिया।
पेंटिंग में पहली बार बिरला ओपस अश्योरेंस। 1 साल में पेंट को कुछ भी हुआ तो पेंटिंग वापस करके देंगे। रजिस्टर करो birlaopus.com पर।
Tehreek-e-Insaf workers stormed the Adiala jail as rumours about the condition of Imran Khan, Pakistan's jailed former Prime Minister, intensified. Hundreds of workers raised slogans and quarreled with the prison officials. Yes, I'm talking about Pakistan. And yes, I'm talking about the protests that have broken out in front of Adiala prison. These are the visuals which define what is happening in Pakistan. Imran's supporters want that jail authorities should submit proof of life and allow Imran and his family members to meet him. His son Qasim Khan has alleged that Imran has been kept in solitary confinement in a death cell and that his family members have not been allowed to meet him for weeks. The United Nations has demanded immediate action, calling for his protection and raising concerns over human rights in Pakistan. Imran has already spent 845 days in custody since his arrest in August 2023. In On Point today, we look at the rise and fall of cricketer turned politician and why Imran Khan continues to be an important player in Pakistan politics despite being behind bars.
नहीं, कुछ नहीं पता और ना वो बता रहे हैं और जो लोग जा रहे हैं ना उनको मिलने दे रहे हैं। अभी उनके पार्टी के लोग वहां गए और उन्होंने उनको ना, उनकी मीटिंग शेड्यूल्ड थी, उनको अंदर नहीं जाने दिया। हम लोग गए हैं, पिछले 4 हफ्तों से हम लोगों को नहीं मिलने दे रहे। वो पुलिस को क्योंकि इन्होंने हुक्म दिया हुआ है कि इनको आपने रोकना भी है और पुलिस जब मेरा ख्याल है उनको ये भी इजाजत दी हुई है कि आप जो मर्जी इनके साथ करें। ये पाकिस्तान में पहले कभी ऐसा नहीं हुआ, कभी औरतों के साथ उन्होंने, कभी किसी ने ऐसी बदतमीजी नहीं की और कभी उन्होंने ऐसा जुल्म किसी पे भी नहीं हुआ था। ये पहली दफा है पाकिस्तान में कि ना वो बच्चा देख रहे हैं, ना बूढ़ा देख रहे हैं और ना औरत देख रहे हैं या आदमी है, जो उनको इजाजत है कि जो भी उनको मिल जाए उसको आप वैसे ही मारें जैसे आपको कोई पूछने वाला नहीं है।
आज हम चाह रहे हैं कि हमारी मुलाकात हो, क्योंकि ये तशवीश मजीद बढ़ रही है और ये पूरे पाकिस्तान में जो है वो तमाम पाकिस्तानियों की टेंशन बढ़ा रही है, और जब टेंशन बढ़ती है तो फिर जो है वो पूरी कौम सड़कों पर आएगी। तो हम चाह रहे हैं कि आज हमारी मुलाकात हो जाए ताकि हम जो है अपने लीडर, अपने कायद इमरान खान साहब से मिलें, उसकी सेहत दरियाफ्त करें, उससे बातें करें, तो हम कौम को भी फिर बताएं कि इमरान खान साहब अंदर किस हालत में हैं। तो अगर फर्ज करें ये हमें आज भी नहीं मिलाते तो अभी जो है हम यहाँ पर बैठे हैं और उसके बाद जो है फिर आगे डिसाइड करेंगे इंशाल्लाह ताला।
So let me take you through the life journey of Imran Khan. So what led to rise of Imran Khan? Imran Khan led Pakistan cricket team in 1992 to the World Cup victory. He set up a charitable cancer hospital in the memory of his mother in 94. In the same year, he launched his own party, Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf. However, his party failed miserably in politics for next 22 years over several elections. All this changed in 2018 when the army backed Imran Khan against then Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif. Imran became Pakistan's 22nd Prime Minister and promised to build Naya Pakistan. But the fall of Imran Khan also took place. Imran's growing closeness to Turkey and Malaysia as the member of New Islamic Bloc alienated traditional allies Saudi Arabia and UAE, irking the Pakistan army. He also faced flack for the abysmal handling of Pakistan's economic affairs. In 2019, Imran Khan sacked Lieutenant General Asim Munir then as the ISI chief over a corruption probe into Khan's wife Bushra Bibi. Not just this, he insisted on appointing General Faiz Hamid as the head of ISI, making Rawalpindi see red over intervention in army matters. In 22, Imran was ousted through a no-confidence vote. Imran slammed former Army Chief General Bajwa and even blamed an ISI general for failed assassination attempt. During 22-24, Imran was slapped with a slew of legal cases. Since then, he has been convicted on multiple counts and was put behind bars. Imran's May 2023 detention sparked riots, with PTI's supporters storming GHQ Rawalpindi and torching a corps commander's Lahore's bungalow. There were unprecedented attacks on military symbols, leading to 8 deaths. Between 150 and 200 cases have been filed against Imran Khan, and he has been convicted in 3 major cases: Al-Qadir Trust corruption case, state secrets cipher case, and Tosh Khana gift misuse. With sentences ranging from 3 to 14 years, he also faces multiple ongoing trials related to violent protests. Despite his incarceration, Imran Khan continues to be highly popular and relevant in Pakistan's politics. Now, let me introduce my guests. I'm joined by Ambassador Deepak Vora, former Indian diplomat, Imtiaz Gul, author, senior journalist and executive director of the Center for Research and Security Studies. He joins me live from Islamabad. And I'm also joined by Mr. Mustakhan, senior journalist, live from Washington, D.C. My first question, 2 minutes each for the opening comments. Ambassador Vora, how come Imran Khan has become so important in the affairs of the Pakistan's politics, which has moved in a very different direction?
Well, thank you very much. Always an honor, pleasure to be with you. With our other 2 colleagues, I learned so much for you. I'm in Jaipur at the moment, sitting in a so-called superstar hotel, but my Wi-Fi is not very good. So let me tell you very quickly, I have a WhatsApp group of several people. We're about 100 people, ambassadors, military people, journalists like you, outstanding people, etc. One of them has posted, a Pakistani, of course I won't give you his name, a former ambassador. He says, the highest level on the Richter scale is 9.9. What is going to happen now in Pakistan is beyond that. Pray for my country, Ambassador Deepak. What about this character, Imran Khan, and this other fellow, Munaria, whatever his name is? They both believe in the same thing, in Sharia and radical Islamism. But the difference is, Munari, whatever the fellow's name, I forget, he's not popular at all, not even in the military. He's trying to grab all power to himself. Whereas Imran Khan is insanely popular, particularly among young people. So my own impression, sir, I may be wrong, I hope and pray, he is not alive, sir. He was suffering from diabetes, he had hypertension. I've met the fellow a few times in New York, and I know that he was not in the pink of health. So if he's gone, it's much better for the government of Pakistan to come out with the truth. You know, I'll conclude by saying, when a character called Mullah Omar, I don't know if you remember the name, he was the head of the Taliban fellows in Afghanistan. He had been dead in a Karachi hospital for 2 years. And then these fellows said, oh, sorry, we forgot to tell you that he's dead. So lies, and denial seems to be the ethos of these people. I rest my case, and I apologize if any of my panelists feels a bit offended by my being so frank.
Okay, let me go to Imtiaz Gul. He joins me from Islamabad. So, how come there is so much of protest around Imran Khan? He has been in jail for more than 2.5 years, 840 days, as his son says. What is the backstory?
Well, I think everybody in the world knows, all those who know something about the politics of Pakistan, that Imran Khan looms large even today as the most popular leader, who was a global celebrity even before he became the Prime Minister. So there is no doubt about that. And then particularly since 2023, his arrest in 2023 August, I think he has drawn considerable crowds as well as sympathy in his favor, and he has been speaking against the status quo in Pakistan, and he's also, I think, refused to budge. He has also refused to be coerced into some sort of compromise, which may then result in his release, or at least coming out of the Adiala jail, where he's been kept for now 846 days. So he still is very much relevant to the Pakistani politics, and evidence in the fact that although a lot of people on television don't take his name, there's an unofficial ban on that, but still most of the conversation revolves around or centers on this Imran Khan and his party, PTI. So he's very much in the news and is consuming much more time than anybody else in the opposition together. So the reality is Imran Khan is still relevant. Yes, there's been a lack of transparency about his well-being, and I personally think that this is a systematic way of breaking his resolve through solitary confinement. We understand that he has been now in solitary confinement for over 6 weeks without any access to the lawyers or to the families for meeting with him. So that's why this entire issue then creates doubts among the people as to what might have happened, if at all, God forbid, that the authorities are not sharing with public.
Absolutely. MR Mustikan joins me from Washington. I'm not going to get into the issue of dead or alive. My question is political nature. Do you think that he can be a force against the establishment? He used to be the army's poster boy, and the amendments that have taken place in Pakistan has actually even more firmly institutionalized the role of the Pakistani army in a lot of civilian ambits, which belongs to the politicians, but they have given up.
Yes, thank you. Namaskar.
Namaskar.
As we know that Pakistan has been controlled by the United States for many long years now. On October 27th, the U.S. Secretary of Defense, Neil McElroy, was in Pakistan meeting the generals for 3-4 days. And a few minutes after he left Pakistan, Ayub Khan took over power from Iskandar Mirza. The thing was, Iskandar Mirza's son was married to the ambassador's daughter, and Iskandar Mirza thought that he has his strong purse. But the Americans decided in favor of Ayub Khan. And so this is a long story of Pakistan being managed firstly by London and then by Washington, D.C. So these are the two capitals that actually manage Pakistan even today. When Asim Munir was in London at the Sandhurst Military College, they posted his picture for months on their Twitter account. We protested a lot, and then they took that picture down. It's very unfortunate in Pakistan that the civilians are called bloody civilians by these generals who are lackeys of the West, who are lackeys of the United States. Imran Khan, you see, when he was in power, our struggle was still continuing. I am from the Baluch. We don't really appreciate this British created state of Pakistan, as you know. We were against this partition of India from the get-go, and you saw what kind of nonsensical view this Asim Munir, who's a psychopath, he's a general versed in the country's history. You saw how he spoke on April 16 about Hindus and Muslims being different, and then you saw what he did in Pahalgam, and then you saw that he got the clean slate from Mr. McDonald Burger, President Donald Trump. And now he thinks, you see, since he has got the support from Mr. Trump, he can do everything. We feel very strongly for the people of Pakistan who are struggling for democracy. We hope these are rumors. You see, Mr. Bhutto, I must tell you, Mr. Bhutto was very close to my family, and he also crushed us. But when he was in the prison, we supported him. And so we stand today with the democracy-loving people of Pakistan. There, Imran Khan's sister, I believe, is just like my own sister. In fact, they dress even like my own sisters. They have a common resonance with the people of Pakistan. Asim Munir represents no one other than himself, whereas Imran Khan is the popular leader of 80% of the country.
Okay, so you stay with me, but then it brings me to the bigger question, and this is a common question to both Ambassador Vora and Mr. Gul. Do you think that in Pakistan there is institutional heft in non-military institutions to put the clock back? Amendments have taken place. I mean, so the more power has been given to Asim Munir. So, Mr. Vora, is there institutional heft left in non-military areas?
Nothing at all, sir.
Nothing at all?
Nothing at all. As our colleague from Balochistan, by the way, my father's family is from Ghazni, so I'm 5% Pathan. Let me just put it across to you very bluntly. The civil administration has nothing. Absolute zilch. And this character, this Badmash who calls himself Sharif, forgive my strong language, he's there to polish the fellows, the military chap's shoes and wash his clothes, etc., etc. Now, let me put it to you finally, sir, as a last comment, since you're running out of time. In my mind and in many others, the overriding image of Pakistan is of heavy boots, the jack boot going up the stairs, and the rustle of satin slippers coming down, which means all those guys sitting in the presidential palace get booted out, the military takes over. What I see happening, there's going to be violence, a tremendous amount of violence, and then the military will say, okay, guys, you can't handle it, the police can't handle it, and this McDonald Trump. So McDonald, by the way, is my trademark. You can't use that. So what is going to happen is that we will see, what we will see happening is that, my bell is ringing, I don't know who it is, but anyway, what is going to happen, sir, is the military will intervene